Hi everyone, this is Manvi Singh. I am a law student of IB Law College and I am a legal intern in Lexis and Company. So, the topic is Directive Principle of State Policies in India. So, the part 4th of the Constitution of India contains the clauses of the provides state the guidelines for the proper governance of the country, which called the directive policy directive principle of the state. So the constitution farmer have described DPSP as the novel feature of the Indian constitution. So it is well known fact that the Indian constitution is a blend of different nations constitution. This novel features of DPSP has adopted from the Irish constitution in 1937. Article 36 to 51 on our constitution covers the directive principle of state policies, which are further bifurcated into social, economic and community, political, administration, environmental welfare. The main object of these guidelines is to provide directions to the union and the state while formulate welfare policies and law. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, in his speech during the Constitutional Assembly, has underlined the directive principle objective as making India as welfare state. It can be clearly understood that these are framed for assessing the success and failure of the central and state government step forward, accomplishing the main object. Now the historical background. In 1941, a group of determined and ambitious people from different fields, except members from top political parties that time, Indian National Congress, Muslim League and Communist Party came forward formed a committee which name is a Sapru Committee. This committee published a report in 1945 which known as Sapru Committee, and in this report the fundamental rights were divided into two parts, as you can say two types. The first one is justifiable and second one is non-justifiable. Justifiable right, the one we call fundamental right, which is in part third of the constitution. Non-justifiable right is now we call as DPSP, that are in a part fourth of Indian constitution. Legal enforceability of DPSP. So these principles do not have a legal effect and they are not enforceable by the court of law. Unlike fundamental right is more moral right than legal, even after it is more enforceability. So it is the duty of the state and the union have to adhere to the guidelines while framing any laws and policies. Now the fundamental rights and directive principles. From time to time, fundamental rights and DPSP have been subjected to numerous litigation in the Supreme Court. Finally, after the Myra Miles versus Union of India case, Supreme Court held that there is no conflict between the fundamental right and the DPSP. Both are complementary each other. Classification of DPSP. Socialist principle. Article 38, 39, the 39A, 41, 42, 43A, 47 of the Constitution covers the directive principle of includes to the establish a welfare state by providing social and economic justice. Now the Gandhian principles. Article 40, 43, 43B, 46, 48 of the Constitution covers these principles with the aim to reconstruct and fulfill Gandhian's dreams during the national movement, such as the establishment of panchayat and promotion of cottage industry. Now the liberal intellectual principles. Article 44, 45, 48, 49, 50, 51 deals with the liberal intellectual principles to bring into effect laws principles in which the ideology of liberalization is reflected. Now the parliamentary reforms for the implementations of DPSP. Industrial Relations Code 2020. This was the replacement of the Trade Union Act 1926. This act mainly focuses upon the welfare of the laborers in this industry. The dispute arises therein. Now the second one is, which is a part of this, the Code of Social Security 2020. This was recently passed by the Parliament after the recommendation that has been made by the National Commission on Labour. Third one is Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017. This is an amendment act of the previous maternity benefit of the 1961, which was formed keeping in mind Article 42 of DPSP. The the Consumer Protection Act 1986, it was an action brought and with an idea to protect and safeguard the buyers' invest from unfair practices, which was done for the sake of some monetary benefit. Now the fifth one is the minimum wages of the 1948. So this Parliament Act was brought in to lay down a fixed standard of wages to skilled and unskilled labor, of reduce the workforce from being exploited. Now the conclusion of this topic is, it is non-debatable point that the development of nations and the length and the welfare of its people go hand in hand. Through this article, we know the significance of DPSP. Even after it being a non-enforceable provisions, it serves a great relevance to the country and its people. So now this was all about this topic. Thank you so much for listening me. Like, comment and share.